Vanguard Creed. It was the gun for the guy who showed up to every scrimmage weekend but never played on an actual team.
My friends, you're witnessing the dawn of a new era, for here we have the greatest paintball invention since Constant Air. Yes, I could only be talking about the Vanguard Creed. Never again shall you have to count blinks and trigger pulls. Gaze with wonder upon this technicolor screen filled with infographs. Marvel at its ergonomically correct, sleek form, and listen to its mighty, yet quiet and refined shot signature. The future is now, my friends, and you, yes you, can be part of Team Vanguard today for just 900 pieces of American trade.
What were you trying to do here, Vanguard? You're trying to outlux the lux here with this gun? This leather-bound swag pack that came with your Creed gun. Obviously, you were trying to cement its place among the top-tier professional-level guns. I guess the idea was to overcome a lack of name recognition by smothering whoever was willing to pony up a grand and change for your gun in branded wares. Hats, t-shirts, bronzed branded Allen keys, and that infamous bottle opener. I mean, I guess that's one way to do it, but with the hindsight spectacles on, it appears it didn't work. When it comes to launching a new platform in paintball, particularly a platform designed for tournament play, reliability is king. Nobody wants to gamble on a gun that promises the world but can't deliver when playing for cash money. Tournament players, and particularly lower divisional players, are hesitant to buy outside the establishment gun companies because they don't want to have to buy a different gun, either for sponsor reasons or when this gun goes down. Additionally, the larger companies travel to every major event and provide tech support, giving players peace of mind to drop over $1,000 on a shiny new high-end gun. Niche market guns like, niche paintball cockers or Palmer guns aren't intended for tournament play, so they have more leeway in the reliability department than, say, the Creed. Not saying those companies' guns are unreliable or poorly designed by any means, just that if one of them goes down during a recreational outing, it doesn't cause the type of uproar that occurs with tournament guns. Less is on the line, and people who own those guns usually have other guns to use anyways. For starters, the company behind this gun couldn't even decide on a name for itself for quite a while leading up to its release. When the minds behind the project announced they were releasing a high-end gun, they first referred to it as the Vanguard by Gun Ltd. Or Gun Limited. Clever. As the release date drew nearer, they changed their minds and it was now the ARV Creed by Gun Limited. But when the brand finally launched, it was the Vanguard Creed. The corporate name itself was still Gun Limited, but they stopped referring to themselves as such and just said Vanguard Paintball from then on out. It all looked really sloppy and indecisive to say the least. The gun itself was another issue. The first generation Creeds that shipped from Vanguard had a host of issues, like leaky poppets and regulator pistons that weren't machined properly. And since Vanguard didn't have a service facility set up in the USA, it forced the majority of owners to ship guns across the pond to the Vanguard UK headquarters. Vanguard was quick to fix the problem and offered to exchange any guns with issues for free, but this hurt the gun's reputation. And like I said before, new tournament gun companies live and die by their first impressions. You can distinguish between a version 1 and 2 Creeds by the placement of the rear frame screw. If the screw is on the back of the frame instead of underneath, then it's a V2 Creed, like this one. Very shortly after the release, rumors spread about Key Action Sports buying Vanguard, but the deal never materialized. History has shown there's very little hope for new guns if they launch with issues. Either you launch with a near-perfect gun, 2005 Eclipse Ego, 2008 Lux, 2011 Empire Axe, and it becomes a hit, or you launch with a problematic gun and it's dead within a couple of years. 2005 System X NME, Vanguard Creed, Alien Interceptor 08, Die NT. The one exception in recent memory I have is the Geo, which launched in 2009 to meh reception, and when the Geo 2 came out, it exploded in popularity. I think a major reason of that was Eclipse's reputation from the Ego, and that Eclipse aggressively marketed the Geo 2 on all fronts. The Creed from a design standpoint is unremarkable. It's a stack tube poppet, and it has all the parts of a stack tube poppet. It has all the necessities a high-end gun should have. Venting on-off ASA, OLED board, quite rare in guns at the time, nice clamping feed neck, a barrel kit, and the aforementioned swag. Minus the exposed airlines, which were still the norm at the time, the Creed streamlined as much of the body components as possible. Guns like the Intimidators had front blocks, ram housings that extended behind the body, and eye covers on top of the body, sometimes even having exposed air hoses. The Creed maintains a sleek, flowing body design by recessing the eye covers into the body and hiding the ram cap within the body instead of having it exposed on top of it. And the LPR and HBR are attached without a bulky front block attachment. It's all very clean looking, except the harsh milling marks left around the breech.
That's what you get when you outsource.
Oh wait, everybody outsources now. When you think about it, the Creed was more like a supercar, where the Intimidator was a track car. Both are fast, but one actually goes around the track, and the other spends most of its time parked looking pretty. The Intimidator was used for years by a handful of pro teams, and dozens of divisional teams. It was endlessly customizable and earned its reputation in the trenches. Sure, the Creed is a capable supergun, it can shoot just as good as a Timmy, but it never had much of a presence on the field. The only pro team that ever took the field with Vanguard guns was the last incarnation of Avalanche, and even then, the team shot both Creeds and the Demon markers and saw some success. They made Sundays a few times in the MPPL, the only league the team played in at that point. Divisional players ignored the Creed, evidently scared off by the problematic launch guns and the steep drop in prices of Creeds on the secondhand market. These days, a working Creed can be had for under $300. Looking at this bolt, it closely resembles the Cure bolt from Eclipse, but it lacks the valve O-rings. It always bothers me when I see this on guns. See, back in the old days, every bolt on poppets had valve sealing O-rings. It's just common sense. Right when the hammer hits the valve, you want to make sure a minimal amount of air escapes around the bolt. At some point, people thought that guns would shoot better if elimination of these rubber sealing O-rings would decrease the bolt drag and increase efficiency. A noble idea, but the tolerances would have to be perfect for this to work. I'll blame the 05 Ego for a lot of this. It was one of the first guns in my memory that had an O-ringless bolt, and everything from Bushmasters to Spiders followed suit and eliminated O-rings from their bolts. After a few years, people realized this led to more blowback and worse efficiency, so O-rings have returned in most poppets on sale today, and there was much rejoicing. The Creed bolt still has breech sealing O-rings, so it helps prevent on breech blowback, as well as providing a soft surface to the next ball on the feed stack to bounce off of and reduce barrel break, so it's not as bad as it could be. So how does it shoot? When I first received this gun from Skylar, it shot horrible. Absolutely horrible. Like this horrible. I didn't have much success with it out on the field in this shape, but after balancing the regs, it was much improved. The Creed does everything adequately, which is probably why it never really caught on. A new platform can't excel if it isn't any better than the establishment, but as a backup gun, if you find one in good working order, then hey, go for it. You could do much worse. I give it a soft recommendation, the same recommendation I give to Emo's Pizza or Knuckles Chaotix on the Sega 32X. See you guys later.
You guys have no idea how fucked my gun was.
My gun was fucked too, but I didn't have. How did I not hit you? I thought I shot you. Wait, no, he's clean.
Well, that isn't a hit. Look how that's from my gun. See how soupy it is?
Damn it.
I had
It's my shoulder. Fucking.
holy.